Please be seated. Good morning. Those are pretty heavy lessons we just heard, weren't they? The first one, all about the Ten Commandments. Then there's that marvelous psalm, which kind of reflected on that. And then we had the dizzying words of Paul, condemning worldly wisdom, and then we had that frightening picture of Jesus kicking everybody out. No more rummage sales, no more anything. We can't have those things. Okay? I'd like to dwell on Ten Commandments. Do you all know the Ten Commandments? Do you all? You do? Okay. What's the third commandment? Let me tell you a little story. It's a proleptic story because the hero of the story is currently only 4 months old. So proleptic means it hasn't happened yet, but probably will. This little boy named William, that's my grandson. And he's 4 months old, but when he's 6 or 7 or so, he'll be going to church. God willing, he'll be going to church. And when he gets up, goes into the closet to get his clothes on and put his hat on. He only has one hat because he only has one head. So he reaches up for that one hat and remembers the first commandment. You shall have no other gods but me, only one God. Well, he puts his hat on. Then he has to put his shoes on because his mother won't let him go to church without shoes on. So he bends over to get his shoes, and he sees his 2 shoes while he's bent over. And he remembers the second commandment. Thou shalt not bow down to any other god. Then he goes outside, and the door slams in his face. He gets so mad. Then he sees the 3 on the door. He was on the 3 Fifth Avenue. And he remembers the third commandment, what I asked you, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Then he goes down the steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. He sees the Sunday paper. And the 4th commandment he remembers is, remember to keep the Sabbath day holy. So then he looks over, there are his parents standing under the Fifth Avenue sign. He lives at Fifth Avenue. He looks up at the 5, he sees his parents, and he remembers the 5th commandment, honor thy father and thy mother. And he walks around the car and he sees the 6th, it's a dead something. Squirrel there on the front, and he sees the 6th and he remembers the 6th commandment, thou shalt do no murder. You're going to wonder about this one. And he slides in the car and he slides across the seat like this. He gets all dirty. And he looks down to his pants and sees the 7 written on the car, on the seat of the car. Remembers the 7th commandment and his dirty pants and says, thou shalt not commit adultery. Kind of a stretch, but stay with me, it's all right. Then he looks down, and his mother's purse is there on the seat, and the purse is open, and the wallet's open, and there's dollar bills there, and he counts them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Remembers the 8th commandment, thou shalt not steal. And then they're driving to church, and he looks up at the clock by the bank, which is pointing to 9. But he's going to the 10 o'clock service, so that's not telling the truth, is it? And the 9th commandment is, thou shalt not bear false witness. And they come into the parking lot, and right there in number 10, where they always park, is a beautiful Maserati. And he knows his father's always wanted, and he just wishes he could get that car away from that person and give it to his father. And he looks at the 10th, the 10 in the parking lot place, and he says the 10th commandment, thou shalt not covet. Okay, those 10, you know why they're 10, by the way? Why are there 10? So you can remember them. There's 10 commandments. How many fingers have you got? Luckily, we don't have more, right? But that's why we have the 10. What those commandments are is God telling us how to live, how to be real. Every single commandment is against lying, against putting something in the place of reality. No other gods, just God is God. Nothing else is worth worshiping. Nothing else can respond the way and only God can. Not money, not power, not sex. Nothing, all these other things that society tells us we really should have, don't we? I mean, watch TV. What's it telling us? What is really important? Money, power, and sex. If you don't have those, let me tell you how to get them. Worship them. No. And all the other commandments like that are putting something in the place of reality. And God is saying, be real. And here's how. Follow this, and here's how. And this is reality, and this is life. And because God cares that much about us, cares that much about us individually, they come to us, and they also come to us as a society. All of these things together are reality. They are older than the Bible. They're older than anything that we have in our civilization at all. This is God speaking to you and to me. And isn't it wonderful that God does that? And that God gives us this wonderful way of responding to God. Most of the time in Lent, we've been putting a mirror up, a thing up like a mirror that we look at ourselves. This is something to push the mirror aside and look beyond it into reality, into total, full truth of the willingness and lovingness of God. And that is the whole business of the Ten Commandments. So, what's the third commandment? Remember the door slamming in the face? See? You know them all now. Amen.